And just like that, once again, folks, we're live. I'm Tom Owens, guys. You know me from the social media and from the podcast world. Today, I got a special guest. Today, I got my friend and one of my training partners, Michael J. Fit. He's in the house with me, and we're going to talk about different things. Normally on the podcast, guys, all that you guys have known me, I'm normally just interviewing MMA fighters, jiu-jitsu guys, and we're always staying in that martial arts realm. Uh, Today, my guest, I met him in the martial arts world, and that's how I met him and everything. But with this new show that I'm doing, I'd like to be able to talk to different types of guests and different walks of life, and that's exactly what we're doing today. My friend Michael here, he does a lot of different things on the outside world. So, Michael J., welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm very well, thanks for asking. I'm pumped up and excited to be here.
Awesome, man. I'm excited to have you, bro. Uh, we said we're not going to talk about martial arts, but we kind of have to a little bit because that is where I met you. Now, I believe I met your father before I met you. Guys, a lot of you know me, met me out in Farmersville, California. I was a jiu-jitsu teacher out there for some time, and I've been friends with Danny Valdivinos. That's how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
Pronounce his last name for me.
Valdivinos. You got to kind of give it a little bit of spice. Valdivinos.
All right, Valdivinos.
There you go.
Hey, man. Over there in Farmersville is where I met you, bro. And you remind me of those people. There's a certain type of vibe that certain people stick with, it seems like. And those guys, they have a great mentality. They're the giving type of a person. Danny and Johnny both with Team KO Farmersville, man, they're just the way those guys are, man. I clicked up with them right away years back, and we've been friends ever since. And when I started teaching jiu-jitsu out there, that's where I met your dad, Greg, and a super cool guy right there, man. I believe I met your dad first, and then I met you after. Now, Greg, just like Danny and these guys and myself, he's one of those guys that's willing to help people for free. And that's a thing that's far and few in between in the world nowadays that we're living in, is when you find a coach and you can go to a gym and, you can bring your kid in there or even yourself. And if you don't have the money to pay for that program, they want to help people so bad that if you're a good person, they're willing to let you come in and train for free on the mat. So that's where I met you, Mike. Talk a little bit about not just the martial arts scene of Farmersville, but how old were you when you started training martial arts, and was Kung Fu, am I right? Was that your first style?
Yes, it's Kung Fu Sansu. So this is it right here. Got it tattooed on me when I got my brown belt. Currently, I'm a second degree black belt in Sansu. And what Sansu is, it's a modified version of Kung Fu. 7 families got together in China and they modified their own, they pretty much created their own art, combining all of their styles together and created Sansu. And to my understanding, how the story goes is they were killing off, families for trying to, learning the martial arts and having the martial arts, right? So there was a lot of war. And so the founder, Jimmy Woo, escaped to California where he opened his own dojo and began teaching Sansu. And so one of his students opened up a dojo, and that's where my father learned. And when I was a kid, I remember just, being a little goofy kid, wanting to play around, and my father trying to, teach me and my 2 older brothers some martial arts. And we kind of did a little bit, we learned a little bit, but goofed around more because I really didn't understand the importance of it until I got older and started getting into scuffles in school. And I asked my father to start training me again, and that's when I just, barely got into high school, right? And so I asked my father to start training me again. And then, after that, it was kind of off and on. But there was a time when I had to really buckle down and take it serious if I wanted to get my belts. And so I buckled down, and trained a lot. And you would think that because my father, it's my father, he would just, maybe give me the belts or something like that, when it's kind of a disadvantage. It's a blessing and a curse, So he definitely made me earn my belts. And, I started doing the MMA over there in Farmersville because of Tommy Gunn, right? Thomas, yeah. And so he was training out there, yeah, and he was the champ, right? And he was doing great in it. And I ran into him, and I was talking to him, and I'm telling him, yeah, I'm trying to lose weight and stuff like that, because during this time, I hadn't went through my transformation yet. I hadn't made the choice to start changing my life just yet, right? And by that I mean healing my heart, my traumas, all these things, and become somebody better. But I remember when we were talking, he's like, "Hey, have you ever tried MMA?" And I'm like, "No, I've never tried that. I've always wanted to. I watch it, you know." And he's like, "Why don't you come by the gym?" And so I did. And I remember when I went over there to start grappling, the very first day I was there, they matched me up. They put me on the mat with Anthony Torres. And and I looked at him because I was a lot bigger too at that time, like heavier. I wasn't muscular because I really didn't lift weights, but I was chunky, right? And I took a look at him and I'm like, this little guy right here, you know what I mean? You're going to put me against this little guy, okay, or whatever, man. That guy mopped me up, right?
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, and that's when I began learning the MMA there, and the rest was history. I loved it out there. Yeah,
Oh man, dude, what a trip! This life that we live in is a trip, man. It is a real trip, dude. How old are you, Mike?
38. I'll be 39 in January.
You're 38, so you've been on this planet for some time. I'm 47, but you're 38. Yeah, you're getting up there too. You've been around, and since you were a kid, man, you've seen the times have changed, man. The times in this world, they're just changing so rapidly, man. It is a trip, man. I trip in this world that we live in, and how everything's are going, and man, just how life is and how people have changed with their attitudes and the way people are acting nowadays. It's really tripping me out, man. And since I was a kid, going through the times, I saw the Atari, the Nintendo. Then the technology kept growing and growing. PlayStation. Then we get into these phones, the cellular phones.
Yeah.
And I remember the first one I had was a Motorola flip phone, and the rest is history with that from there. Because you see what we got today. What about you? Were you around in those days with the flip phones?
Yeah, I remember the pages coming out and everything like that. I remember,
The
being in school,
pager.
and I didn't. Yeah, I never had a pager when I was in school. You know, much less a cell phone. And when I remember getting out of school, I remember they started, putting those little, yeah, like you said, those flip phones and those other little small Motorola's. You remember those? And so, yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, it's a trip. And now, I mean, you today now in the world that we're living in, dude, people are just there. It seems like everybody, Mike, is in such a hurry. And these last 6 years, I'll be all over the place with this interview because I got so many things on my mind. But the last 6 years of my life, they've probably been like the most trying years of my life, man. Where I've been through ups and downs, but I've had the lowest points in these last 6 years, and I dealt with a few deaths of close by people, and then I went through a divorce with a woman that I had been with for some time. And man, bro, like, I'm not trying to get soft on anyone out there, but I know I can't be the only one that's gone through some stuff like this with women, or maybe it's a woman that's gone through it with dudes. But I had no idea, bro, what a serious relationship could do to a person after that divorce or the breakup when you've been with someone for so long. And man, dude, I didn't realize. I know you talk a little bit about relationships and stuff. What information do you have for a guy? What would you recommend for a guy that's been in love, or a girl that's been in love and they've split up now and they still got that feeling in their heart?
So you're saying essentially you're with somebody and you break up, yet you're apart. You're apart, yet you still have that feeling for each other.
You know what I mean? You've split up with a divorce and you've
Mm-hmm.
been with the person for so long. There's like a trauma there, man, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem to go away for a long time. It took me a long time. It took me like almost 6 years.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So when you're with somebody for so long and you share so much with them of your life, of your energy, of everything, of your resources, and you plan for that person to be there in your life for the rest of your life, and you give them everything, and when it's over, that was a big part of your life, a massive part of your life. And in an energetic world, we live as an energy, right? And so that energy is gone. It's a different feeling, right? And it's a space. that we feel that has been taken, it's gone, right? We feel it right here. We feel that loneliness, right? With them gone, that pain, right? And so obviously we're going to feel empty. Obviously we're going to feel, some kind of like that feeling of a hole in your stomach or something's not there, and you won't feel it, until, that you're around them again, or, you think that, you have to have them again. And for so long, years and years, it's still there. That lets you know that, more than likely you haven't moved on from it, right? Because there's certain things that we do to actually move on, to actually let go, to actually heal from these traumas. Now, a lot of people think that it's just time that does it. They think that just after a matter of time of just going on a healing journey and just, they working out, and these kinds of things, which is great. But to actually heal trauma, to actually let go, we must create a new feeling, a more powerful feeling to overcome that traumatic feeling. Because the trauma, when we think about it, it comes into our present moment. We think back and we get the feeling of it, right? And that overwhelming feeling will consume us each and every time, right? So it is that feeling of the trauma that is brought back into our present moment. And if we keep on doing that, it's just going to be into our future as well. But those traumatic experiences or those old memories, right, of letting go, if we actually command ourselves to and actually do the physical, mental, emotional actions to overcome these things, we actually break into our subconscious. We actually break into these traumas that we can overcome with new beliefs, right? For example, if you want to let go of something, right? If you want to let go of the past, if you want to let go of the feelings you have for your ex, there's certain things you can do to traumatize yourself in the right way to overcome that trauma from the past. So, for example, if you were to say, hold on to a bar, right? You jump up and you hold on to a bar and you have to hold your entire body up. And no matter what you do, you have to hold on, even if it gets tiring. And you have to do it for, let's say, 30 minutes. And it doesn't matter if you let go and you fall off, you have to jump up and try to hold it again, right? And for 30 minutes straight. Anybody who does that, it's going to exhaust you. And it's going to be a very hard thing to do. And it's almost going to be a traumatic thing, right? Because you're going to go through this and you can tell this and you imagine, right? And it's not just that, it's you imagine and you tell yourself, this bar represents everything I've been holding on to my entire life. This bar represents everything from the past that I cannot let go of. And you're going to go, and I'm going to choose to hold on to it right now and get it all out of my system, because after this day, after this 30 minutes is over, after this is over, I can never grab onto that ever again, because I know I cannot hold on to it any further. And that action, you tell yourself that physically, mentally, and emotionally, you do this exercise. You go to sleep, right? Because it's going to feel great after you do it. You say all of these things with as much emotion as you possibly can, and you make this as a powerful event as you possibly can, right? It's going to feel great when it first happens. But here's what's beautiful about it. When you go to bed, your brain starts processing everything that you did in that traumatic experience and goes, oh, the reason why we did that is to let go of all of these events from the past, to let go of all of those feelings we have for that person, for that situation. And it begins to pretty much rearrange your brain and your beliefs to best cater to you that has let go of all of that, that has healed from that, you that has forgiven, or whatever that action is. Because you break into your subconscious mind when you physically, mentally, and emotionally take these actions and overcome these traumatic experiences with a new powerful experience to override that and reprogram yourself.
That's what I love about you, man. And keep going, you don't stop, bro. I love it.
It's very exciting stuff.
It is exciting, bro. It's a trip, man. Hey, like I said, you know what? When I was younger, I didn't go through a lot of long relationships, but then I got into one like that. It was a long one. Took me a while to get over it. Luckily, I'm over it now. I'm moving on, but I know there's other people out there going through the same thing. So that's great advice, man, dude. A big part of why I brought you in here, and you brought it up for a second there, was energy, man. This world that we live in, the what we're made of, everything around us. It seems like, I think actually in reality, it is all energy, man. And each person out there, every day that we wake up in our whole life, and every second and every minute of every day, we have a choice. It seems like, Mike, am I right about this? That we all have that energy, but we have the choice if we can make it positive energy or negative energy with whatever we're doing. It seems. Am I correct about that?
Yeah. And that's what life is about. It's all a choice. You choose every single day. Every single moment you choose that. Even if you're not feeling how you want to feel, it's your choice to accept that and go along feeling like that, or it's your choice to do what you know to be true to get your feeling that you want to feel, you know, whatever you need to do to make that happen, you do it. But again, it's your choice. But a lot of the times people aren't even, aware that they have the choice to feel how they want to feel, right? And when you discover you actually have a choice to feel how you want to feel, it changes the world. But a lot of the confusion is that we have to fix things out here, or we need to figure a lot, I need to figure out this whole situation so I can feel better. When if we just take all of what's out here away, trying to change what's out here and trying to figure it out up here, and instead just simplify things and feel better, we're going to think better. We're going to act better, right? So a lot of us try to, again, start right here, which a lot of it does. But again, when you change the way you feel, you change the way you think, and you change the way you act, and you change your results.
You'll change the results, man. That's the big thing that a lot of us out here are looking to do: get better results. Now, man, in my life, like I said, the last 6 years have been pretty trying, but stress and anxiety and depression here in the United States. I know it's not just a problem here in America, but all around the world, but definitely in the United States and around here, stress, depression, and anxiety, man, those things can weigh on a person. And what seems to happen when I start experiencing things like that, and I'll go to a doctor and try to get help, man, the first things that these doctors wanted to do was just put me on pharmaceutical drugs. And I've grown up and through my life, I already have problems with like pills and drugs and hard drugs and things. So it was probably the last thing that a doctor needed to do was put me on some kind of Xanax or some kind of benzo or something like that. But I did do it for a while. And to me, all I was doing in my mind was I was just getting this pill again to get it, that was making me feel good. And the next thing I know, I'm taking this. I think it was Xanax. It was a benzo,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just next thing I know, I'm running out every month, and it's not taking care of my depression or the anxiety. And I just got myself off it. I was smart enough to do it at an early stage where I was able to get myself off it. Um, what I know you've looked at this before, definitely have looked at this before. What are some different alternatives that a person can do? Say it's a young guy or an older guy our age or even older, but you're feeling anxiety, you're stressed, you're depressed, but you don't want to take pharmaceuticals. What do you recommend? Are there foods? Are there what recommendations do you have, Mike?
Peel the layers. Peel the layers. You have
Talk about.
anxiety. If you have anxiety, you have to figure out where the anxiety is coming from. Okay, typically it's a fear. Okay, what are we afraid of? Okay, whatever we're afraid of, where did that fear come from? And we trace it back. We find out. Okay, I got this when I was a child, right? I was afraid of this. Okay, and then, well, how did you respond to that when that happened, when you were first afraid and you started developing the anxiety? Well, this is how I responded. Okay, so that's how you respond whenever you get your anxiety. You still do it till this day because essentially we are all grown children. The child that is developed will stick with us. We just grow, our bodies just grow, and we become more mature. But when you discover why you are the way you are, then you can begin to reprogram it because you can't fix something that you don't know it's broken if it's broken, right? And so it is in this finding out, knowing what you do not know, discovering these things about yourself to reverse these patterns. So you take your pattern now. So you go, okay, so whenever I get anxiety, I go and drink, or I, do a certain thing, right? You're aware of that. Awareness is key. Okay, so you're going, okay, I'm having anxiety right now in this moment. Okay, it's go back to the very basics. Simplify, always simplify. It's an energy. It's not like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? I'm scared. No, 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 no. It's an energy. So, what can you do in that moment to get rid of that energy? There is many actions you can take. A lot of people, oh, well, going on a walk, deep breathing, whatever it is necessary for you to do in that moment to get rid of that energy. And a lot of it's right here, right? If you focus your breathing and you deep, physiologically, your brain will slow down. It has to. When you keep taking deep breaths, your brain will force you to calm down, but it is in forcing yourself to do that. Okay? When things are fast, think about just slowing things down. When you stop and you close your eyes, and you take away everything, and all you do is focus on feeling calm in the moment, and go, you know what, I'm not going to try to figure everything out. I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to breathe deep, and I'm just going to feel calm. Peace and calm. Peace and calm. Peace and calm. And you can even say it out loud, right? And just the feeling of me going, peace and calm. Peace and calm. Now I'm starting to feel more peaceful and calm, where I can definitely feel my energy spike.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so again, in those moments where you are feeling the rush of anxiety, is in switching to your new behavior, which is going to eventually be a habit. Okay, which is going to be who you become, right? It's going to be who you become, because we can always change. Right? Our brains weren't designed to be one way our entire lives. And so when you break down those patterns, you create new ones, you create new habits, a new you. But there is also in the fact too of one more thing about anxiety is being proactive in anxiety. So the proactive approach, meaning you start to battle your anxiety before you even get anxiety. Because let's say you wake up in the morning with a default level of that much anxiety. And then when something happens throughout the course of your day, to get you more anxious, it goes right here, way up here, right? But if you wake up and you do your anti-anxiety exercises, whatever you know to be true to reduce your anxiety levels and calm you down, and you do that beginning of your day, and they go down to here. Then when something happens during the day, maybe it only goes up to right here, right? But when you practice every single day at slowing things down, at closing your eyes, slowing things down, and being peaceful and calm, and monitoring your thoughts, you learn to transfer your thoughts and create the energy you want. And you do that enough times every single day with your eyes closed, and you practice, and you get good at controlling your thoughts and your emotions with your eyes closed. When you open your eyes and you go, about your days, it's going to be that much easier. You're going to be able to do those same things when you get good at it. And all it takes is practice and dedication.
Man, dude, that's good. That's awesome stuff right there, bro. I'm proud of you, man.
I'm proud of you.
That's awesome stuff right there, dude. That's great information
It
right
is.
there.
It
That's
is.
great information. You know, meditation and things like that, I've always tried to do, and I'm getting better at doing it. When I was living up back in my college days, living up north in Northern California, one of my jujitsu training partners, he gave me a book from a Chinese master named Mantak Chia, was his name, and he's a Qigong master,
Okay.
China. And it was the guy goes, "This is kung fu." He goes, "This is real kung fu." He goes, "This is a big," or he goes, "This is a big part of kung fu right here." And all it was, I still got the book. It was so super interesting. I still try these techniques. They were just meditation techniques, Mike, where the guy would have you sit like in certain positions, and a lot of the times you're sitting like on a regular chair. You might have heard of this stuff before, and just with straight posture was a huge thing. but the breathing, it was all about the chi, bringing the energy up from the earth and transferring it around your body, but collecting it in your abdomen, like you were talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then another thing the guy was big on was maybe, I don't know if you know anything about this. A lot of people I ask about this, they don't, they think it's like rumbo jumbo or whatever. The
Mm.
guy always talked about when you're meditating to put the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth.
Mm.
You know about that?
Hmm.
Talk about that a little bit. That stuff's interesting, man.
Yeah, so that's something that one of the spiritual teachers that I follow online, Sam the Illusionist, right? He talks about that. But essentially, I do believe that's connecting more to your consciousness and being able to block out more of thoughts coming into your mind. It has something to do with that. I can't explain the science of it, but what they're doing exactly, the practices. I don't know exactly of their practices, but what you're telling me from it, yeah, I know what they're doing. A lot of it is our Earth has so much energy. Free energy is everywhere in the trees, in the plants, in the animals, just everywhere in the rocks, in the dirt, the soil. It's just electricity, right? And so if we were, so think of ourselves as our cell phones, right? The battery goes low, you got to put them on the charger, right? Us as beings, for it to have that good energy to recharge ourselves, so literally like a battery, to feel electric, to feel electrified, to feel excited,
That's
right?
what I'm talking
Uh,
about.
And you can go into this is, and I believe it's called barefoot dirt walking. I don't know what it's called, right? But where you take off your shoes, your socks and your shoes, and you pretty much walk in the soil, or whenever you get into river water or in nature, these kinds of things. The eminent energy from the earth, all of the electrons, I believe, right? It's absorbed into your body, right? The same thing. So it's all charging you. So you think of yourself as being on a charger when you do these things. I like to do things like, I guess grab onto the trees, right, and hold the trees, or do things just to connect with nature. That eminent energy, again, if you even look it up too, just being in nature drops our anxiety levels naturally.
It's
Just hmm yeah, and
yeah.
these kinds of things we're all free access to all of the time, but things block it. Like for example, the rubber in our shoes. We don't make that earth connection. Our body to the earth, right? Think of it, our body connecting actually to the earth, and can you imagine how much energy the earth has,
Hey,
right? And
does
so,
that rubber in our shoes, does that stop it?
yeah, it blocks
Seems
it
like it would.
because all of that eminent energy from nature is the most powerful antioxidant we can possibly have,
That's
right?
fucking badass, dude.
Yeah. And
Hey,
so when
that
we're
guy
walking,
would that guy would say that too, like during those meditation practices to be barefooted. He would talk about that. That's a trip, man. That is so trippy, dude. And it, man, isn't it crazy? Even if you know about something like this, it's so easy to overlook it and go through our daily lives without putting any of that practice to use with meditation or chi exercises. Do you do like meditation practices? What do you do in these situations, man? When you're
so
trying
it's
just to relax and breathe, what style of meditation do you go for?
so there's many different ones. I change mine up all of the time. Because I like to make it fun and interesting. And for me, there's a lot of growth in when you're trying new techniques. So it depends on what I exactly want to accomplish in that meditation. So if during in that meditation, I wish to feel more powerful, for example, right? I will do a meditation where I will close my eyes and I will visualize myself becoming more powerful. I will picture my body strengthening. I will picture my body healing. I will hold certain poses for a while. Any kind of poses like this, right? When you naturally pose your body in certain kind of ways, it creates energy, and the energy that flows through your body, right? The oneness feeling. But these kinds of poses, these kinds of different meditations vary to based on what you want. For example, one of the most common ones I will do is where I like to focus my thoughts. Where I like to just close my eyes, I will put in either 528 432 1111 frequencies, which is essentially sound healing. I'll listen to these a lot. So it actually repairs my DNA, calms you down, soothes you, or sometimes I'll do it quiet. But what this is right here, essentially, and I recommend this to everybody every single day to try this. When you close your eyes, and you just bring yourself to whatever state of peace and calmness, right? You just bring yourself to a state of peace and calmness where you are in control. You step into control. You go, I'm in control, I'm aware, right? And when you do this, you begin to monitor your thoughts for a certain amount of time, okay? Those thoughts that come in, the first thought that enters, when you are in that state of being of calmness, not trying to think about anything, clear everything out, that first thought that comes in is your biggest stress. So when you close your eyes, you bring yourself to that state of peace and calmness, you're going to have a lot of realizations, because when you empty everything out, whatever first comes in, that lets you know, okay, this is what's been on my mind, possibly worrying me. Then I will micromanage that thought and I say, okay, I'm going to manage it this way. This is what I'm going to do about it. And I send it away and go back to a state of peace and calmness. And I'm open to receiving whatever comes to me at that point. Right? Throughout the day, I will take time to just stop and look at the sun and be grateful for the sun, be grateful for the earth, be grateful for my life, be grateful for all of these things, right? With my eyes open, So there's just many different forms of it. And it depends on, again, what feels good for you. But in the end of it, I would say the number one thing is be very intentional about what you're doing in your meditation.
Good stuff, my brother. Good stuff. Now, as far as like your spiritual beliefs, is there any sides that you lean towards? I mean, what is your view on our creator of this life that we live
in? Yeah, so the one true infinite creator of infinite intelligence, I would say, the infinite source of creation and love, the highest frequency, because this is a very earth, an energetic earth, and it's all based on frequencies. Okay, so they did some research, or they did a test where they measured the ether of space, and they wanted to know what the ether of space was running on. And so they found that it was there were these numeric codes that were making up the ether of space. And so these numeric codes, they said, is closest to an error correcting system, which is essentially a web search, a web search browser. So you're telling me that the space ether is made up of the same program as Google? Meaning you type something into Google, it receives the information, corrects the errors, boils everything down, and gives you all of the answers. Creates all of the answers there for you. That's the same thing that's running the universe. Now, how does that apply? These frequencies are all codes, right? We're all operating on certain frequencies. You're on a frequency, I'm on a frequency, everybody's on a different frequency based on how you're feeling, what you're thinking, how you're operating. And we're constantly typing into Google, the universe, what we feel, what we think, what we believe to be true in our reality. And we do that by, again, how we feel. For example, when we are feeling excited or happy, our hearts will emit certain electromagnetic pulses, right? And these pulses are received into the space ether. They travel outwards, right? It's a vibrational planet. These vibrational pulses vibrate outwards into the space ether. Typing it into Google, right? The space ether, whoop, 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 types it up, pretty much corrects the errors, and sends back that frequency of what it believes to be true, pretty much correcting it. So if you're sending out signals emotionally that I'm happy, I'm getting even happier, right? These kinds of things, that's a high vibrational frequency. So that information gets, again, put into our space ether, and based on whatever information that decodes, creates your reality. Now, what's pretty cool about this is if we think about us as human beings, earthlings, as beings on this planet, all as one, right? If we were to take away our body, our mind, everything, right? We were to take all of that away, we have our consciousness, because there's our mind, our body, and our spirit, right? Our soul, right? Okay? And so that energy, that consciousness we have, if we were to take away our bodies and everything, Tom, all we have is our consciousness. Well, in the infinite universe, everything is connected. All of this energy, it's all connected, meaning our consciousness is connected, is in fact still connected, but the only thing that's separating it is our bodies, meaning that everybody is connected, consciously connected. We are all part of this divine creative energy. Whatever created us, this God that created us, we are all on that. We all have that same consciousness in us. And so, if you look at it like that, we are all just one consciousness having different experiences in different bodies, right? So, again, in the energetic universe of everything being connected all as one, that's why I'm a big advocate for oneness. Because if you're telling me that you are me and I am you, and we're all just other versions of ourselves, meaning I'm just talking to myself right now, everybody watching right now is just watching other versions of their self, maybe you start treating people a little differently when you know that we're all just the same person. We're all one civilization of earthlings, of just one connected consciousness of infinite unconditional love.
Man, dude, and what did, hey, man, could you just imagine this earth, like what it would be like if every state and place around this world, all the different countries, if we had that mentality, man, with no war, peace, no war. You think it's ever been like that on this planet?
I, I don't know. That's a good question.
Hey, man,
That's
it's
a
almost
good
like
question.
built into our DNA. You know, it's a trip, the energy that, hey, when you're talking about the numbers, man, being created. Hey, how far off was that movie, The Matrix?
Oh yeah,
Right? With
that's
the
more of
numbers and everything.
a documentary right there. Yeah.
Trip, man. This world is a trip. The other thing I trip on too, man, it's almost like this is something that I learned when I lived up in Humboldt. There was a lot of like what people would call hippies, or people just call me, oh, there's a bunch of hippies up there. But what I noticed with the people up there, they were really into like Tai Chi, meditation, Qigong, these different types of things like that, just a real peaceful mentality. They were super, super into that. So everybody, everybody treated each other with a different type of respect, it seems like up there. I know there's got to be places all around the world where people are like that. Up there, though, in like Arcata and Eureka, that have you ever been up there, Mike, in Northern California?
No, no, no.
Yeah, you would like it, man. A real peaceful type of people down there. I liked it a lot. Anyhow, man, everything you got going right here, what you've been talking about, is awesome. You got a lot of motivation in you, bro. What are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing out there? I know you do these. Do you talk to people? Do you do speeches? I saw a picture of you online. Looked like you were on a TV show. What was that about? Or a
Oh
TV? Was
yeah,
it a news station?
that was out there, KC24. I was on one of their morning shows, and I've been on a few shows, had some television interviews, other podcast interviews. Essentially, what I do is right now I'm doing coaching. It's online coaching, and that's more of what I'm getting is the relationship coaching. So my biggest avenue right now on social media is on TikTok. You can follow me at Michael J Fit. And what I do is coach a lot of people, through the videos, and through the videos, they are directed to my website, and, they sign up for coaching, and I just coach them over the phone just like this, with whatever situations they're going through. And typically a situation is heartbreak, a breakup, a cheating, somebody losing attraction or things like this, or for somebody that just, broke up, going through a tough time, they don't know what to do with their life right there. So whenever they're seeing me, it's kind of like whenever things are going wrong, how to be better, how to heal, how to, improve all of these things, change yourself, become the person you actually want to become. The motivational speaking I've done before. But I'm really trying to work on my speeches now, but improve them in such a way as to where they're much more entertaining, and they're a lot more, jam packed with information, right? So I'm working on that, as well as the videos. I'm keeping those rolling. I'd love to do more acting. As you see, I've been in movies, commercials before, and so it's pretty much. I mean, I love to be on the stages, in the videos, and I just want to keep on pumping as much positive energy as I possibly can. Each time the people see me, wherever I'm at, wherever I pop out of, they just automatically know, like, yeah, I want that message to be like, yeah, right? Where they feel that goodness, they feel that power, the empowerment of it, the recognition of how powerful you truly are, and recognizing that it's your choice to be happy, and you choose whatever life you want to live. You break off your limitations and you become who you really want to become and get the life you really want to get. Now, me, I've experienced these things and I still have quite a journey left to go, which is great because for some reason I just feel like I'm just getting started, Tom, right? And I always feel like that. And so it's just the journey keeps on going, and no matter what, that time is going to be occupied with something. You're going to live your life how you're going to live it. Things are going to happen all around you, but it doesn't matter. You got to choose to live your life how you want to live it.
That's true, man. That's so true right there, bro. Man, your
Yeah.
life, dude, if you could see it and if you can believe it, then you can definitely achieve it. I truly believe that, man. Like, you can live on the ups, you can live on the downs, but you definitely have a choice of doing one or the other, man. Having positivity or negativity in your life, but you got to make that choice and you got to take that step and get it going, man. Good stuff. So, how else, if a person wants to get a hold of you, Mike, and they, say they want some coaching or they want a motivational speaker to come into their workplace or something like that, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Is it through TikTok? Is that the best way?
Just send me an email or just go on my website. All of my information is right there. I even have a number you can text. Send a text to that number right there, and you can get a hold of me. I make myself very available. If you send me a DM anywhere, Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook, wherever it is, send me a DM there. Email me at mjfitofficial.com is my website. But if you just type in Michael J. Fit in Google, it's so simple as to where all my information is right there for you. So just get a hold of me. It's my absolute pleasure. I know a lot of people say that, reach out to me, right? And I will help you. A lot of the times people don't have the or want to utilize their money for coaching, or they feel like they don't have the money for it, but they really want it. In those cases, when people reach out to me, I'll still find myself, it doesn't matter about the money. If I can hear it in somebody's voice that they're really going through something and they are wanting the help and they're willing to do whatever's necessary to get it, and they really want that change and they're very appreciative of it, man, appreciative of it, I will help those people out a million times, right? But in the avenue of getting a hold of me, yes, just look me up. I'm everywhere.
Hey, man, not what you just said, man. Guys, not everybody in the world will do that, man. Today we're living in not just today, but in, since the beginning of time, money and wealth and, people's hungriness for money can cloud their judgment of what they're doing. There's not everybody that will take you in and help you, even if it's not for money. Wealth isn't everything, man. Wealth is not everything. Mike, you remind me of, I grew up, I didn't realize that, I didn't realize that you were related to the kids that I grew up with, man. Manuel Rios and Harvey Rios and Anna Rios. Those are like my brothers and sisters right there, bro. That's your blood. You remind me of them. I've met pretty much almost all your family that's locally here. But you guys, no matter what lifestyle that you guys choose, everybody has their different routes they take. You guys all have that same mentality, that willingness to help people. Hey, man, and that's a golden thing right there, man. When a person has that willingness to help people, that's why me, you, Danny, Johnny, all Team KO, certain people, we get along so well together. Your dad, certain types of people, they just get along together. They have the same type of vibe and it goes together. But man, dude, Mike, is there anything else you would like to talk about or say or put out there?
If anybody's watching this and they're going through something in their life, or you're feeling fearful of the future or the way things are going, you're looking at all these changes or all of these things that are happening, and you're feeling scared. I want you to know that there is absolutely nothing to be afraid of, right? Because you create your reality, right? You are the one. It's you. It's always been you, and it'll always be you. All right. You determine your future. You create this. You create this. You do what is necessary. If you actually do it, it'll get done. But think of it like this: everything works out for you in the future. Everything's going to work out for you. It's already done. The only caveat is you actually have to do it, meaning you actually have to do your best to get it. It's already done for you, but the only caveat, again, remember, is you actually have to do it. So whatever you want in your life, however you want to feel, however you want to be, trust me, I've been there where I've wanted to exit this life prematurely, and I've been able to change myself because of the dedication. I'm much more no special than anybody else. We are all one right here. And so, again, if you ever need me at all for anything, you just reach out and I'm here and I got you. And so, and then Tom, it's been a pleasure having me on the podcast, and everybody that's watching, I appreciate you all so very much. Much love and positive energy to everybody.
Likewise, dude. Hey,
Ah.
man. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have you back on plenty more times, dude. Too, man. This is the first time I had you on this show, but it's been an honor knowing you. Hey, I want to thank Danny and all those guys for introducing me to you, and your dad too, man. I got a lot of love for your dad. Uh, your dad is just a cool dude, all in all, man. And if you're watching this, Greg, or your mom, I haven't met her, but is your mom living? Is she around here as well?
My mom?
Yes.
She just recently passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that, but she's watching from the
Hmm.
other side.
She
Your
is.
mom,
She is.
yep, that's the bottom line, bro. Your
Hmm.
mom's in a good place, I guarantee it. Your mom
Oh
and your
yeah.
dad, they both spawned off a good dude. Man. You're a good dude, and it's been an honor knowing you. We'll talk again. Guys, if there's any way you can help my brother out here, help me too, man. Spread this video, put a like and share it. And if you guys have any guests, anybody that you think would be a good guest for something like this, you can hit me up. You can hit Mike up, and we'll get them on here. This show, this podcast stuff, man, I got a good job and everything, Mike, and I got things I do. But what I like about this is I get to talk to people like you, and I get to learn something new. Seems like every time I do one of these shows, I learn something new. And man, when you have anything going on in your life, it seems like just a conversation with a guy or a girl can do so much for you, right? Versus just sitting there and you're at home and you're having all these things go through your mind, maybe negative things, depression, anxiety, stress, or whatever. Man, don't you think, Mike, it helps so much to have a good conversation with somebody?
Definitely. It means a lot more to people than you may think a lot of the times, just saying those little things. I've had so many times where I've not been having the best day, and just somebody just random, I don't even know this person, says, "Hello, how are you?" And they say a joke, they compliment my shirt, and then I turn around and walk off, and I just feel like somebody cared, right? And a lot of the times that's why we feel so lonely, because we feel like nobody cares, right? But people do care, and if you're watching this too, if anybody ever, tells you that they're going through something, don't you dare tell them that everybody's going through something. Don't you tell them, oh, everybody's going through something. No. When someone tells you that they're going through something, you just be there for them. And even if you don't know what to tell them, you just listen to them and you just let them know that you're there. And then that means so much to people.
Oh man, guys, and not everybody has. If somebody has it in them, the guts to tell you that they're going through something, that means they really are going through something, man. Because most people are going to hold that in and they're not. Hey, when someone tells you that, they may not even know it, but they can use that person to talk to, that ear that will listen to them. So, man, Mike, I want you to have a good evening, bro. I'll definitely talk to you more. Everybody out there that tuned in or listens to this in the future, thank you so much. Mike, you have a great night and have a great weekend. I'll talk to you again soon, my brother.
Likewise, brother. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.